President-elect Donald Trump says he believes the White House should have more influence over the Federal Reserve. The Fed has long maintained independence from the White House. That's to avoid political meddling by an elected president. But President-elect Trump says he should have greater say over the Fed's monetary policy. Mr. Trump appointed Powell to the position in 2017, and as president was often at odds with the chair, angered the White House couldn't impose more influence on the Fed. On the campaign trail this cycle, the president-elect mused about firing Powell, or even bringing the Fed under direct control of the executive branch. When asked whether he would step down or expected Mr. Trump to fire him, Powell had this to say.
Some of the president-elect's advisors have suggested that you should resign. If he asked you to leave, would you go?
No. Do you believe that the president has the power to fire or demote you, and has the Fed determined the legality of a president demoting at will any of the other governors with leadership positions?
Not permitted under the law.
Chairman Powell's term ends in 2026, which means President-elect Trump will then be able to appoint a new chairman of the Federal Reserve. Reporting in Washington, I'm Trevor Shirley.
Following the election of Donald Trump as president-elect, the American Securities Association, ASA, which is a trade group for the financial industry, issued a call to Gary Gensler, the chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission, requesting that he immediately step down from his position. Aya Kovella, President and Chief Executive Officer of the American Society of Association Executives, ASA, wrote in a statement released on Wednesday that last night, the people voted for this country to take a new direction, and that Chairman Gensler should respect that result by stepping down from his position immediately. Aya Kovella continued by saying this is the only way for the working families, retirement savers, and small businesses of the United States to rebuild their trust and confidence in the institution of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Who has threatened to fire Gensler if he is elected, the American Securities Association Nation, which represents significant asset managers, remarked, Gensler has been criticized for his uncompromising stance on the cryptocurrency business, which has become increasingly prominent in Washington since the beginning of Trump's first term in office. Trump, who had previously referred to cryptocurrency as a scam, has changed his stance on the subject and openly supported the industry during the campaign trial. However, he has also voiced his disapproval of the crypto-critical approach taken by the administration of Biden and Harris, which was led by Gensler. Although the president-elect has committed to fire Gensler from his position, the Securities and Exchange Commission is an independent federal agency, which means that its commissioners are protected from being removed without a valid reason. Rather than being influenced by politics, the argument is expected to be based on considerations of regulations and policies. CoinDesk noted that although Trump is unable to compel Gensler to resign from his position as a commissioner, he will be able to appoint a new interim chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission once he is inaugurated in January. A new commissioner to the Senate can also be nominated by the outgoing president. This week, the Senate was under Republican control, which increased the likelihood that the nominee would be approved by the upper body. On the statement made by the ASA, the Dusty chose not to provide a comment. Over the past few years, several political individuals, both inside and outside of the cryptocurrency sector, have spoken out in favor of Gensler's removal from his position. For instance, Senator Warren Davidson, our Ohio and House Majority Whip, proposed a measure in the previous year to reorganize the Securities and Exchange Commission and remove Gensler, whom Davidson referred to as tyrannical. The purpose of their proposed policy was to restrict the ability of a single political party to retain more than 3 commissioner seats at any given time, and to remove some of the discretion that is held by the chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Compared to the statement that Aya Kovella made in 2021, in which he endorsed Gensler's candidacy and referred to him as a person of immense intellectual acumen who is also pragmatic, reasonable, and open to listening to all points of view as he develops policy. The statement that Aya Kovella made today represents a significant departure. Aya Kovella was contacted by The Hill to obtain additional feedback at the commencement of President Biden's tenure, which began in February. Gensler was appointed to his position. It is quite likely that Gary Gensler will be leaving his position, and the transition team for President Trump is now considering potential candidates to fill the position of chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Although Trump pledged in July to dismiss Gensler on the first day of his second administration, according to the law, he is not legally permitted to do so without a valid reason until the conclusion of Gensler's tenure in 2026. Nevertheless, the subject of cryptocurrencies is at the forefront of the president-elect's attention when it comes to the selection of a new SE chief. It was reported by Reuters that Dan Gallagher is one of the individuals that some people are considering as a potential replacement for Gensler. As of right now, he is the chief legal, compliance, and corporate affairs, who's also requested that the agency alter its approach to the regulation of cryptocurrencies. During a hearing that took place in September, Gallagher addressed the United States Congress with a title that read Dazed and Confused, breaking down the SEC's politicized approach to digital assets. In his prepared remarks, Gallagher made a direct attack on Gensler, claiming that the Securities and Exchange Commission had created innovation-killing federal regulatory uncertainty. Regulation by enforcement is something that the Securities and Exchange Commission has been doing, which is not good for American consumers who want more access to digital assets. What he said during the hearing was that it is detrimental to the innovation that is taking place in the blockchain and digital asset industries, as well as detrimental to the already deteriorating and competitive position of the United States about the digital asset. The request for a remark that Fortune made to Robinhood was not immediately met with a response. As reported by Reuters, Paul Atkins, who was a member of Trump's transition team in 2016 and who had also served as an SEC commissioner in the past, is another potential candidate for the position of president of the Securities and Exchange Commission. At the moment, he serves as the chief executive officer of the consulting firm Potomac Global Partners. Since 2017, Atkins has been serving as a co-chair of the Token Alliance, which is an effort that is being carried out by the Chamber of Digital Commerce organization. By the information provided on its website, the Chamber is committed to advancing the acceptance and use of blockchain-based technologies and applications of digital assets. Atkins stated that he agreed with the position taken by the SEC and Gensler that Bitcoin is not a security during an interview with the cryptocurrency media site CoinDesk. However, he also expressed his disagreement with Gensler's approach to the regulation of cryptocurrency. He stated that how the Securities and Exchange Commission is regulating through enforcement or threatening to regulate is a significant issue. The request for feedback that Fortune made to Potomac Global Partners was not immediately met with a response until later. Some other stories have brought up names such as Mark Aida, who began his second term as a commissioner for the Securities and Exchange Commission in January. Aida has been serving as a commissioner ever since President Biden put out his nomination in the year 2022. Moreover, he has held several positions within the agency, including that of senior advisor to the former chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Jay Clayton, and counsel to Atkins during his tenure as a commissioner in early 2000. The information that has been provided is not intended to be trading advice. There is no responsibility for any investments that are made based on the information that is provided on this page. Before making any decision about investments, we strongly advise conducting independent research and consulting with a knowledgeable professional.